Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. We're doing cheap cabs today. I mean cheap, like most expensive one here is 11 bucks. You know, it happens a lot. People come to the store and say, you know, I want a Cabernet, I want to spend a lot of money. What do you got that's inexpensive? Now, I have not tried any of these cabs, so I'm very interested in giving them a whirl, seeing what we get for the money. Now, just to kind of help you guys figure things out, sometimes when you go into the cheap category, you get wines that we call manipulated. In other words, they add things to the wine. Nothing that's going to hurt you. You know, the whole cyanide thing. But they do add things to get a certain flavor profile so that the consumers will like it. And, you know, that's, you know, some people are against that, of course. I have mixed feelings about that. You know, I know that they don't put anything harmful in there. Like when you go to a restaurant, the guy makes a steak or a certain dish that he's very proud of, he adds things to it. Spices, salt, pepper, whatever he adds. A little bit different with wine, of course. But that's what you're faced with a lot of times, especially with jug wines, things like that. They're aiming for a certain flavor profile, and the only way they're going to get that is to add things to those wines to give it that, whether it's tannin powders, deacidify it, acidify it. Mega Purple, which is a compound, and it's Mega Purple comes from grape components, but it's added to give it a darker color, because a lot of times darker colored wines tend to sell better. People like those big, you know, juicy looking wines. If that doesn't bother you, great. It doesn't bother me necessarily, but when you start getting up into the higher priced wines, you tend to get less of that manipulation. Although that is not always the case. Sometimes they do manipulate more expensive wines. So you can't get around it no matter what. And whether you feel it's unfortunate or fortunate, they don't have to put ingredients on the wine. And even if they did, I mean, how many of us would know the code for Mega Purple? You know, they're not going to put Mega Purple on there. They're going to put the chemical makeup of that wine. Anyway, someday they may have ingredients on the wine. I know there's a few organizations that are pushing for that, and that could happen, which is fine. I don't know how many people would take the time to do it. That doesn't matter. So let's try these inexpensive or cheap Cabernet Sauvignons. By the way, it's snowing right now. It's the first week of November. I guess crazy. San Juan Island hasn't seen snow, I think, since '91 is the last time we saw snow this early. Kind of crazy. Anyway, let's get started. I don't know which direction to go. I suppose it doesn't matter. In fact, I'm going to do let's just go cheapest to the $11 varietal. This is the 2016 Twisted Cabernet Sauvignon, and it just says California, which means they can get it from anywhere. They can source it from all over the state, whether it's Burbank or whatever, wherever they grow grapes. Let's just give a little rinse. Twisted, I sell a lot of the Twisted Zinfandel. A lot of people like that wine. It's inexpensive. I think I've only tried it once. I can't even remember. Okay, let's go. It's kind of fun. You know, what can we get for under $14? I actually do a list and have to really start giving it some serious thought. Stan's top 40 wines under $20. So I kind of have a reputation at the store I work at for finding really good values. I mean, anybody, in fact, I appreciate the people that watch this video. A lot of those folks are people who come into the wine department, my wine department, looking for the values that I find. I appreciate that. I really do look for good value wines. Let's see what we get on the nose. That was kind of a rough transition there. Oh, by the way, the beard's coming in. Part of No Shave November. I think I mentioned this last time. A really good friend of mine, well, a good friend of mine, really good friend of mine got diagnosed with cancer. 2 weeks later he died. I said 2 months last episode. It was actually 2 weeks. Crazy. Found out a classmate of mine from way back when died of cancer, and my sister is struggling with cancer right now. So it's dedicated to, well, I'm going to say it's dedicated to my sister. I know she's going to beat it. She's been working really hard at eliminating any signs of cancer. She's progressing very well. Love her to death, and I just look forward to her getting rid of it finally. Thank God we live in a time when people, technology, medicine, and all that has eliminated some of the cancers that have killed when it shouldn't have. Let's see what we get on the nose with the Twisted. This one, stealth enclosure, kind of cool. I think that's funny. So, I probably should show you this. Stealth enclosure, Twisted Zen, cool guys, good marketing. If anybody thinks about it. There's a label. Okay, $7. I got a little cardboard on the nose. Definitely some cherries, a little bit of underlying raisin element coming through. Not exciting on the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. Not terrible. I like the acidity. It actually is kind of bright on the palate, which is cool, especially when you're having food. A little dry. Sometimes when you find these inexpensive or cheap, let's just use the word cheap, cabs, you tend to get a little kind of goopiness, fakiness. I don't get any fake out of this one, which is I find quite interesting. It's kind of bright. It has bright cherry notes. That raisin element comes through. A lot of critics don't like to use the word raisin, but hey, that's what it is. For Christ's sake, it's raisin. It's simple. Has just a tiny hit of spice. Bright red cherries with a little bit of raisin. That's it. Just a quaffable, easy to drink cab for $7. Now I got these prices off of Wine Searcher as an average price, so you might get it for less, might get it for a little bit more, but that's where it falls in. And you know what? If I were having a burger and a bunch of people over and I wanted a case of wine, let's say I'm at a party, just maybe a Christmas party, and I want to have a bunch of people over, and I knew none of those folks that are coming over, they like wine, but they don't really think about it that much. This would be a good wine. There's nothing funky about it. It doesn't taste fake. I'm going to go C+. I think it's a little better. It's simple, but it's good. I like it. Let's move on. This is the Glenbrook 2015 Cabernet Sauvignon, California. This rolls in at $9. Oh, $10, excuse me, $10. And seriously, a lot of us, that drink wine every day. It's nice to get our hands on just an inexpensive wine that we can have when we have company over. I think the Twisted is a great example of that. Yeah, I'm impressed. I don't know anything like makeup in my mouth, all that sort of stuff. Glenbrook. Let's see what we get on the nose. Again, I get that dried cardboard smell, which is interesting. It's not corked. Cork is like wet cardboard. Oh, you can smell a corked wine. Sometimes when they're slightly corked, it's harder to tell. But that's when there's a taint on the cork itself and it hits the wine, and that translates into the technical term is TCA, but I used to be able to say the whole thing. I haven't said it in a while. So there's a little bit of a tobacco element coming through. A little bit of vanilla, not a lot. Kind of like dried cardboard, currant sort of thing. Again, not a lot on the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. Almost has like doesn't taste like paint thinner, but a little paint thinner element coming through. This again has good acidity, which is probably what's giving it that. But the acidity isn't rounded out by the fruit like the Twisted. having trouble with this one. It's okay. Certainly, it would be good with food. I'd say if you had a burger, pizza, sliders, pork belly, pulled pork sandwich, something like that would be good. It has a kind of a funky, weird sort of thing going on. Almost, can't quite put my finger on it. Sorry, guys. It's like cherries meets raisins meets acid. But the raisins aren't strong. It's just that kind of a... Wow. That's a tough one to put your finger on. Definitely cherries. I get a little tobacco element coming through. It's pretty simple. The acidity is there. It almost like it was acidified to me, just saying. It's interesting wine, for sure. Kind of interesting, a little too acid for me. It kind of hangs on there, but without the fruit. It's almost like a little barbecue spice element. Maybe, I don't know. It's really tough to put my finger on because I'm not getting enough of that round fruit. The twisted was acidic, but still had this was not quite as harmonious on the palate as the twisted was. I mean, I hate to use that word for it, but that, you know what I mean. It doesn't dance well together as well as the first one. But I don't find it offensive, certainly not. I don't think there's anything too bad about it. I'm going to go straight up C, not bad. $10, I'd go with the twisted. I'd go with the twisted before this one, of course. Now let's move on. Now, when you taste enough wines, you start realizing that you can taste, I call it makeup. Did they add acid? They can do that. To make it that way, or what did they do to give it what they try to build into it? They try to build structure into it. It's like pouring a crappy foundation in the house and then doing everything you can to make it kind of stable. I'm not saying, I don't mean to be that rough on it, but I'm just saying you get a little bit of that with the blend book. Okay, this is the 2013 Cabernet, I'm saying Cabernet Reserve Vintner's Collection Cabernet Sauvignon, and this rolls in at $11. 2013. Interesting. There you go. Kind of cool label. So nothing bad yet. Nothing like, thumbs down. Nothing special, but nothing thumbs down. Let's see what we get on the nose. This has a little deeper nose, not a lot going on, but I got a little stink right off the bat. Definitely ripe currants coming through on this one. A little bit of like a warm leather, whereas this came through as dried cardboard, this comes through as more warm leather. Let's see what we get on the palate. A little more user-friendly. I like it, actually. I don't know what I was looking at. Watching the snow come down. It's kind of crazy. Definitely currant. Get currant notes with a little bit of underlying acid. So you get like kind of a freshness underneath. It doesn't go goopy on you. I get a little bit of that kind of apothic red, sort of just a hair of brown sugar on the back side, but not offensive to me at all. It just barely comes through on the back end. Again, this is very interesting. All three of these kind of surprised me. They all have kind of fresh acid, which is cool. Great for food. This one has a little rounder currants, with that little hair of brown sugar element coming through on the backside, but still very fresh. Again, very simple. All of them are quite simple. This one has a little bit of maybe a hair of tobacco, but I'm not going to go that far as to say it's tobacco. But just, it kind of feels like that, or tastes like that just a little bit. definitely more earthy than the other two. Yeah, this is something I'd put on the shelf, absolutely. I think it's a great cab. It's $11, which is a good price point. Twisted as well. I think you got two different. This has a little more complexity than this one, so I'm liking both of these. I'm going to go C plus, hedging towards B minus on this one. For what you get for $11, not too shabby. It might even be a candidate for my top 40 under $20, just because I'm not getting makeup. I'm not getting a lot of weird kind of things on it. I think it's, decently made. That brown sugar element just kind of hangs on the backside, but with that freshness, I think it doesn't hurt it at all. At all. There you go. Thanks for taking the time to watch. I hope you can find some of these wines if you're curious about trying them. They're certainly reasonably priced. Thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your day to watch me. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.